It's fine. You have issues, but I still see everything though. They had a problem with the camera. I hope I'm not talking live right now.
Yeah.
It's like the most awkward thing. We have issues. Yes, me too.
All right. Cool.
All right.
You get to repeat all of that.
All right, cool.
Oh man, countdown is counting down.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Kinguin for charity event, Winter Edition 2015. Now with me, Monk. We've been casting this tournament so far. We've had a little bit of unfortunate, last match here with Masson versus Powder, where Powder disconnected way too many times for his own good. And as a result, I guess we can't really extend the amount of times we're going to replay the game. So Masson is going to move on to round of 8. I don't exactly know who he'll be facing. I think that's still to be decided. Based on who wins the next match, and the next match is Strifeco versus Thijs. So quite intense match coming up.
Yeah, Strifeco very on fire right now. I believe he won something like 53 matches in a row on ladder. I mean, sometimes I can't even win 2 in a row on ladder, let alone 53 games.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, and he did that, up to legend and then continued from a very low rank account. But regardless, it's still pretty impressive just to think that the variance was positive all the way through.
Yeah, Strifeco, he's been playing Druid, he's been playing Paladin, he's been playing such a variety of decks in his career. But one deck that we haven't seen much of from him is the Priest. And Strifeco is actually going to be bringing Priest to this tournament. Wow, I can't recall the last time I've seen Strifeco play Priest, actually.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty excited to see what he's got for Priest, because if he brings it, he's got to think it's going to do something special, especially good in a way. Or maybe it's just a scare deck to force his opponents to ban it, since they have zero idea what to expect, which I find kind of interesting. He didn't even bring Paladin, which I thought he might.
Yeah, Paladin is a class that, or is the class that he got such a long win streak with on the European ladder, all the way from rank 25 to rank 6.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I really did think he'd bring that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think they both have the same lineup most of the time, aside from one deck slot where I think Strifeco brings Priest, where Thijs brings Paladin. They're both running Druid, Hunter, and Mage in their lineup, which is pretty expected, I guess. Druid and Hunter at least, but the Mage...
Yeah,
how represented is it?
I just feel like I think the Priest might be a pick against the Paladin class that's really popular these days. Priest generally has favorable matchups against Paladin, against Hunter, I dare say. But
yes, they do. Depending how they're built, I think you're right.
But I think Hunter can always just take games off the Priest, easy peasy. Like we saw from Eka versus Naria. Naria didn't ban the Hunter. He played Priest. The Priest lost. He was sad.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter has that power. It just takes games against just about anything. But Thijs bringing Paladin and Strifeco bringing Priest as the only difference in their lineups leads me to believe if they went 1-for-1, Strifeco would have a slight advantage. Yeah, so both of them ban Hunter in their lineup. So not a single Hunter will be played in the next match, which is good news.
We actually got word that it will be a Druid versus Druid mirror in the opening match, and these players are both masters of Druid. I believe they're both the players that are most known for playing Druid in the entire game. Strifeco, obviously, he was one of the first innovators of Druid. He got pretty much the first rank 1 legend deck that was ever posted, and it was a Druid deck. It featured Wild Pyromancers, Baron, Geddon. This was all the way back over a year ago.
Yeah, way far.
Later on, he helped innovate the infamous Force of Nature Savage Roar combo, which is pretty much in almost every Druid deck except for the new Wall Druids. So that was definitely a huge innovation. It brought Druid to the next level. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Thijs, he is kind of like the father of Ramp Druid, or at least he made Ramp Druid popular throughout all his wins with the deck. Wild Growth, not a card that we see usually from Druid, at least 6 months ago, or 7 months ago.
Yeah, maybe about 7 months ago, I'd say.
Yeah, but suddenly Thijs began using it in his decks. He began winning tournaments with just the Druid alone. In fact, I believe Strifeco and Thijs actually had a show match on the I Heart You King of the Hill, and where Strifeco went up 3-0, and then Thijs just basically swept him with Druid, reverse swept him, and the final score was 4-3 in Thijs' favor, in which Thijs Thijs won 4-0 with the Druid.
Oh wow, off of wild growth basically. So it was like the other archetype kind of.
Yeah, at one point
That goes way back.
Obviously Thijs had like a 10 win streak in King of the Hill, but I did like some calculations, and he was actually had like a negative record with his other decks, but with Druid he had something like a 20-4 win rate.
Win rate? Wow. Okay, that's actually pretty insane. All right, so we're jumping into the game here. Strifeco at the top from Cloud9 in his usual attire, and Thijs at the bottom. So they're both playing Druid. Shades of Naxxramas on Thijs' side, so indicates a little bit of a faster Druid, I think.
Yeah, even though some of the slower Druids even run Shades these days. I've seen, for example, Dog's Druid, even though it has Ancients of War, it also runs Shades, and it also runs one combo.
That seems to be the case at the bottom. There's a Shade of Naxxramas with an Ancient of War. So you'd just be right here. But 2 Shades back to back, that's really strong. You know, turn 2 Coin Shade, turn 3 Shade, that sets up a really nice aggression.
Even though neither player has walled growth now, the player that has 2 Shades of Naxxramas, that's pretty much the best start you could hope for that doesn't involve an Innervate or a walled growth.
Yep, and the best counter to double Shade that don't get unstealthed for a long time is Sylvanas Windrunner. It's one of the best ways for you to ensure that you're going to be getting... Oh, wow. That is going to help quite a bit.
Walled growth off the top, pretty good. And that puts Thijs in a huge lead, I would say.
Yeah, those matchups very often come down to whoever gets to ramp first. And in this case, Thijs got himself the wild growth. It's going to be a big deal in this case.
Yeah, Strifeco, he got to rank #1 legend on the North American server. I think with this particular Druid deck, I don't think it runs any combos, but it runs huge threats like Kel'Thuzad, Sneed's Old Shredder, and Scenarios. Speaking of Sneeds, hi.
Hello, Sneeds. So apparently, so in this case here, if you're Strifeco, how do you approach this Pilot Shredder? Do you silence it off and sack a Shade, or you just wrath it down and just see what comes out of it with your hero power to kill it with the Zombie Chow?
I think with the Wrath play, you can kind of hope for a weaker minion to come out of this Pilot Shredder, and hopefully it's something that your Zombie Chow can clear. Ooh.
Very, very good. Well, very good. It would have been better as a Novice Engineer for him, but this is a second, well, Captain's Parrot as well. But other than that, I think it starts going into Bluegill Warriors and Loot Hoarders.
Yeah, well, Loot Hoarders, it actually gives your opponent a draw. Not something you want, but I guess it's acceptable in this scenario.
Yeah, just because the hero power takes care of it.
So Thijs gonna continue to curve out well, Druid of the Claw into perhaps the Ancient of Lore or the 2 Shades.
Yeah, 2 Shades of Naxxramas feels like a really nice setup because he already has the Ancient of War. So all he has to do, not the Ancient of War, sorry, but the Savage Roar. So all he really needs to do is wait until the time he finds Force of Nature. And with 2 Shades that are stealthed, that's pretty much OTK at that point.
Very weak options from Strifeco this turn. At the 5 mana slot, Strifeco is either looking to play a Shade or, either a Sludge Belcher or a Druid of the Claw, or perhaps innervate out an Ancient of Lore or an Ancient of War, but he has none of those options right now.
Yeah, he can't even take comfort in the follow-up Sylvanas because there's Keeper of the Grove that's going to be able to deny it in some way. So it's not going to be nearly as effective as he might like. So do you just trade away your Shade and try to develop the Keeper of the Grove on the board here? And follow up with Sylvanas, Ancient of War, Sneeds as, you know, on curve?
I think that might be one of his only options right now. He could possibly decide to hide the Shade. Yeah, he's going to hide the Shade, just hope for it to get more value. Because right now the Druid of the Claw is going to trade into the Keeper or the Zombie Chow. Or maybe Thijs will just go to face, I don't know. But either way, like, it's possible for... I think you're okay with the Druid trading for those 2 creatures as long as you get a 5/5 next turn in order to contest the Ancient of Lore. I think that was the key for this turn. Just getting something to be able to clear the Ancient of Lore that's bound to come up.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense.
And from that, Strifeco will be able to get a neutral board so that he'll have the advantage. Like, he'll throw down a Sylvanas right now, maybe clear everything.
Do you have to clear everything if your Sylvanas is there? Because otherwise he'll just kill it without any drawback. But
it's basically It basically comes down to, do you value the 5/5 Sylvanas or do you value the Shade more?
The growth of the Shade. The thing is, once the Shade hits a certain point, if you have nothing to BGH, well, Dr. Boom might come out next turn, so this might not really be. This might be almost a moot point.
Yeah, we can see from seeing both hands that sacrificing the Shade is probably the better play, because it just forces your opponent to Keeper of the Grove and silence the Sylvanas, being that there's no swipe in Thijs's hand. And with that silence, like, yes, you get rid of the effect of the Sylvanas, but you also put down a 2/4 creature into a 5/5 body, which trades so well against the 2/4.
What I'm kind of curious about here is like the value of Dr. Boom in this case. I mean, it does, you can somewhat negate its value just by virtue of Sylvanas not having much to steal with it, but silencing her doesn't really allow you to follow up with much outside of a Shade of Nax, right? I mean, you'd have to innervate something out right afterwards. The slow play is obviously silencing Sylvanas immediately. What if you just drop 2 Shades of Nax right now, and then silence it off and see what you can do off there?
All right, apparently the play is Scenarios. Okay, that's also pretty good. Like, it's going to be good unless Strifeco can somehow
clear everything. Yeah. Ooh,
if he has like a Wrath or something.
Mind Control tech here. Not the most useful card in the immediate sense, but if the double Shades get played, do you think Thijs will think about playing around MC Tech?
I'm sure Thijs is a player that he prides himself in his ability to scout out opponents and then adapt with the scouting. So I'm sure Strifeco is his deck is well revealed to Thijs. Thijs will know every single card in Strifeco's deck. So, and Mind Control Tech is one of those cards. So yeah, he'll definitely be thinking about playing around Mind Control.
So Sylvanas going to attack into one of those treants. If he doesn't attack, it telegraphs the MC Tech way too hard, and he can't really justify it. So he does kill one of the treants, which is something you don't want to steal with MC Tech. She's got no time for games, and quite frankly, double Keeper of the Grove here. Is that? I mean, you silence once, then you ping, then you trade the treant, then you kill the Ancient.
I mean, it sounds good to me.
You don't even have to play the Keeper, though. You could just hero power it down, really.
Yeah,
but
just,
yeah, you're right.
It's all about whether there's other targets in Strifeco's deck to be able to silence, and whether you think those targets will matter in the long game.
Yeah, but I mean, Ancient of War, albeit it's not the best possible target for that kind of play, it's still a pretty good one, because you turn from a 5/10 into a 5/5, which, you know, if you don't have Black Knight immediately available, that's a pretty good way to do it.
Oh man, Thijs doesn't play around MC Tech.
This is going to be incredible here for, potentially incredible. Then again, anything he steals is going to be fairly weak to Keeper of the Grove. You know, any other minions that are left over from this play.
This is one of those scenarios where anything you steal will be decent.
Yeah, and it's also good that he can follow up with even more, so...
I mean, the Keeper is alright. It's not the best, but you'll take it.
That's a 2/4. It lives. The question is, do you trade with Scenarios, with the Sylvanas, or do you attack Sylvanas? Do you Keeper the Grove, the Treant? I mean, do you Sylvanas a 2/2, then attack Keeper?
I think you definitely have to trade. You're the more, you're the slower deck, you're the more defensive deck. Oh, combo is drawn. Yeah, so you're the slower deck, so you want to be able to stall the game as long as possible, so that your threats will come into effect.
Yeah, I guess because the faster druid will try to beat you down, you can't afford sacrificing 5 health to Scenarios just because.
Yeah. Even though Thijs got the wall growth off and Strifeco didn't, Thijs was player 2, so he only had 1 mana advantage over Strifeco instead of the 2 mana advantage that he would have gotten if he were player 1.
Yeah, player 1 with wild growth compounds the mana advantage that they initially get from just being the first player. So.
Yeah, so the issue for Thijs is that his opponent is only at 26 health right now. So combo won't do that much for a while.
Oh, this is a really nice card for Strifeco to find.
I'm not sure if he wants to play it though. Like, well, he's able to clear everything except the shade off.
Yeah, with just Big Game Hunter.
Yeah.
And it allows you to innervate into Sneed's Old Shredder, which I guess is a pretty decent play on its own.
Yeah, it's gonna get Sneeds is gonna get silenced. I mean, Thijs has nightmares of Sneed just from all those Kel'Thuzads popping out.
Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah, Sneeds will get silenced, but it's still a very strong 5/8 body
Yeah.
that Druid can't deal with.
And
Okay.
2 damage hits from the Boombot.
I wonder why it... Oh, I see what's going on. Yeah, I was wondering why Strifeco didn't attack with the mind control tech first, but it was because he didn't want the Boombot to kill the other keeper. Yeah, that's fine. Like, if he attacked with the mind control tech into face first, then if the first Boombot killed his second keeper, then he would have
Couldn't
no
have
way.
the trade, yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't have the trade, and he would have no way to play this this play.
You know, I find it kind of funny that a card like Sneeze, I mean, it's a very good card, don't get me wrong, but the stat line of it is also pretty interesting. I mean, even if it does get silenced, it's also pretty good. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen, like, anyone play cards just for their stats. And I'm talking stuff like, you know, just a 5-drop, like Fukin and Stalag. They're not viable as minions themselves, but their stat line is just not appealing. Because their ability is just not good. So it seems to me like vanilla stats on minions is completely undervalued most of the time. Outside of like Yetis that create huge tempo swings because of early innervates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yeti is just at a spot where you don't want to hex it. Like Boulder Fist Ogre is very similar, but if you hex a Boulder Fist Ogre, like you're pretty happy about that. Like 3 mana to trade off against a 6 mana creature. Yeah, you'll take that.
There is no silence on the Sneeze here. There was no silence, so the Sneeze, if it gets popped by Ragnaros, is just going to spawn like another legendary.
Thijs is just closing his eyes, just hoping for not Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah.
Or is his...
He disconnected?
Or is he disconnected?
Oh, come on now. You have got to be kidding. I mean, Ragnaros will do whatever Ragnaros does anyway.
Well,
And it kills Sneeze, which...
Nozdormu.
Another Nozdormu. And Kel'Thuzad going to be played just to counter the... Actually, he can just get Nozdormu back, right?
Yeah, he can get it back.
This is the perfect time for Kel'Thuzad. Are you kidding me?
I mean, unfortunately, it looks like Thijs is disconnected, and it'll be more apparent soon.
I didn't see if Thijs went offline, but I don't know if the spectator mode would enable that.
I mean, from Strifeco's perspective, it's gonna look like Thijs didn't play fast enough. I mean, I feel like we were denied of such a good game because of this.
Yeah, really. I really feel like this.
Of the disconnect issues.
But then again, this game was pretty much... Well, then again, the KT... I mean, Big Game Hunter plus Keeper of the Grove would have silenced Kel'Thuzad.
I think at that point, like, he might have just gone for combo.
Yeah, to trade everything away for...
Wild growth cycling. Oh my god, that takes forever.
He just queues up his actions and does them all.
So the last time at ESL, we had 3 Kel'Thuzads in a row coming from Sneed's Old Shredder. Today we have 2 Nozdormus coming from the Sneed's Old Shredder.
Yeah, I think they increased the weight. I think Blizzard has some kind of special code where they just force Sneeds to have a higher likelihood of spawning X or Y minion.
Well, what I was thinking was that does Blizzard just randomize it by day? Like today, like only Nozdormu will come out from Sneed's Old Shredder. That particular day, it was only Kel'Thuzad.
Yeah. So I really like I mean, honestly, like up until the point where the disconnect occurred, I feel like a few key turns were really interesting from like, I guess, a caster's perspective. The play where mind control tech, you know, I said he didn't play around mind control tech. And with some hindsight, I feel like he played around it by offering it and baiting the play before he actually played like bigger and more valuable minions. Because anything that was gone from Strifeco with MC Tech was just low value.
Yeah. Thijs, unfortunately, his scouting didn't come into effect that much. He didn't really play around MC Tech. I mean, MC Tech, in that scenario, it only stole a 2/4, but a 2/4 is still a minion, and a minion is basically what you want in Druid. It's a body that can trade into stuff.
Yeah, but
So
knowing
MC
you've got Dr. Boom coming up, I mean, maybe it's better to just give them a small thing, if you feel you can handle it. But I guess you might be right. I feel like the bait was still pretty okay.
Well, we're just waiting for Thijs to come back right now.
We've been doing a lot of that disconnection stuff, so it's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, that's a lot of disconnects today. I don't exactly know what's going on in the Hearthstone sphere, but it's getting a bit...
It's a bit
annoying.
disconcerting.
Yeah, it really is disconcerting. This is a highlight match, something that we really, really wanted to cast. I was pretty hyped for it, and I feel like I've been let down by that Druid Mirror that it didn't end the way that it could have.
Yeah.
It could have gone on for a few more turns at least.
Strifeco is still like, you probably can't see it right now, but Strifeco is like smiling a lot. I think probably because of the Daz Dormu again.
Yeah, this is like this is the Nas Dormu tournament for Sneeze. Maybe we'll see another Sneeze pop in Nas Dormu. That'd be fun. Hopefully, if it happens again in the round of 8 against every Sneeze that's played by everyone, it could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Life Coach is out of the tournament now. I really want to see another Nas Dormu coming out
Against him?
Yeah, against him.
Yeah, how would Kalento fare against Nas Dormu? How do you think? I don't know. It's just, would he have what it takes to actually handle the 15 seconds timer?
I think he would. I think anyone would have handled it a lot better than Life Coach did, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe.
And this isn't shots fired or anything. It's just
No, it's just
something
it's the
probably.
nature.
It's probably something that's an accepted truth among everyone who plays Hearthstone.
Yeah, Life Coach is a player who plays very, very slowly. All right.
Strifeco gonna take us bathroom break, I guess.
Yeah, I guess he's gonna wait until Thijs gives us news of what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I believe Thijs has had internet issues for a while.
Has he?
I believe in Deck Wars earlier this week, he had those issues as well.
Really, I didn't see that. I wasn't aware that did he disconnect, or did he just have connectivity issues? Like, did he just completely lose games on the basis of disconnect?
Just connectivity issues. I don't think they affected any of the games, but they had a hard time. Getting the match to start, basically.
Okay, got it. All right, well, so waiting on news from the admins here. Apparently, we know that Thijs has little disconnect problems, but that was pretty obvious. 1-0 for Strifeco, so Strifeco will be attributed the win by default as far as Thijs disconnect goes. Now, we don't know what's going to be happening when Thijs is going to come back. His camera seems to be still away without leave at the moment. I don't see any news from him.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from... Okay, so the admins say Thijs is back, and he'll be picking Paladin for game 2.
All right, Paladin against Druid. We have to... Do you think Thijs will play the slower version or more the quick one?